Technical difficulties, man. This is what I'm talking about. I need my people here, but we're doing this solo dolo today. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Hopefully, everything is working when we get on the Discord. But man, sorry about the issues. Let me go ahead and introduce my panel real quick. Hold up. Let me go ahead and switch this over. And you guys are going to hear the rest of the crew. Let's go ahead to the round table. How you guys doing today, man? You're doing good. Let me make sure they can hear you though, cause you know your boy is out here struggling. Let me tell you, you guys don't understand. I tested this thing so many times, but here we go.
Listen, until you do it, unless you hit unless you do it on the real time, it doesn't really matter. That's when everything goes wrong.
Can y'all hear the chat now? Can y'all hear the Discord roundtable? Let me make sure, and then we're good to go. Y'all say what's up in the Discord real quick so we can make sure it's good.
What up?
Yo.
Yo.
What's up, everybody?
Cool. So we got a big table today, y'all. We got a super big table today. I'm going to let everybody go through and introduce themselves, but real quick, I want to say that today I'm the little guy in the room. Y'all always looking at my videos and y'all learning from me, but today I'm the smallest fish in the sea. We got some of the biggest names in my contact list and people that I look up to and respect as mentors and friends. So what I want to do is, last time on my live stream, we spent like 30 minutes doing introductions. We're not doing that today, but I want everybody to go through and give themselves a 60-second introduction to who you are, what do you do, and how can they learn about your business. So let's start first with Luke Belmar. A lot of y'all already know this guy. We've become great friends over the last 2 years. But Luke, tell him a little bit about yourself. Tell him what you built, and we'll start there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Jordan, thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be in the house with these guys. I know them either personally or indirectly, and they're all heavy hitters. I can vouch for them. But a little bit about me. I've been an entrepreneur for 7 years now. I started my journey in digital marketing, then transitioned to e-commerce. And e-commerce was able to generate multiple 8 figures. In the year 2020, I rolled everything over into DeFi, into crypto, was able to generate $42 million net profit, and was able to cash out. So I had a pretty good come up, and club to become the largest. Now my CEO, which is Steve Tan, who's also my mentor, but he'll introduce himself in just a moment.
Yeah, I want to get Steve on here because I've been in this e-commerce dropshipping game since around 2016. And I remember when I was first getting started, Steve was the guy that I looked up to like a god. This guy was in the Facebook groups posting $100,000 in a day. I'm like, where is he coming from? What is he doing? Him and his brother are 2 people that I've always looked up to in my journey. So I want to say welcome, Steve. I'm super happy to have you as a part of this round table. And can you give the people a little bit of an introduction about yourself, and also maybe share some numbers that you've generated from e-commerce? Because if I'm not mistaken, you're one of the biggest guys out there in Asia doing this thing.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for having me. Good to finally be able to hang out with you guys as well at the same time. I've watched our first roundtable. It's awesome. So a little bit about myself. Been in e-commerce since 2006. Started Facebook ads in 2008. Probably one of the first batch of I would say VIP customers with Facebook. Like in the past, when you guys start spending like 10,000 in a day, you're easily qualified as like VIP customers with them. But nowadays it's kind of hard. But fast forward to now, probably did around 200 over a million in e-commerce, right? I think we started scaling to different ecosystems, different kind of companies, agencies, fulfillment companies, building up the entire whole ecosystem, whereby we could definitely help the whole group. Essentially, last time when we started building out all these different parts of the companies, it was mainly to support the growth of the group, right? A lot of people need email marketing, a lot of people need logistics, a lot of people need software. So I think one of our softwares, I think a lot of people probably in the earlier days in 2000, 2020, they would have been using a software called Intercart. We did about $1.2 billion in a span of almost 1.5 years. Not my revenue, kind of like all our clients, total GMV of people using the software without any ads. It was just purely coming from our e-commerce group. So that's kind of like a little bit about my journey. Right now, focusing mainly on Capital Club. That's kind of like what we are envisioning to build for the next few years. It's going to be a really good club for entrepreneurs around the world. So me and Luke, we're going to be focusing on that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Steve, you're a real legend, bro, and I'm super happy to have you on this table. We got a bunch of topics we're going to be talking about today, chat. I want to get through the rest of the intro so y'all can know who you're learning from today. But we got a bunch of topics today I want to discuss. And also, at the end of the stream, we're going to be answering questions directly from you guys. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to ask questions from some of the biggest people in this space. You're not going to be able to DM these guys and get your questions answered. You're not going to be able to go to lunch and run into one of these guys. This is really an opportunity. So I want you guys to stick around all the way to the end. But next up, I want to introduce my boy Neel. You guys might have seen him on Steve Will Do It's page. You might have seen him linking up with Drizzy Drake. You might have seen him with 6ix9ine traveling around the world. Neel, let the people know a little bit about who you are, what business you run, and how much your business is bringing in these days.
For sure. So what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Thanks for giving me your time. And I'm the founder of Timepiece Trading in Miami, Florida. We sell like super exclusive watches. We buy watches, like anything you may have, we buy it. In the last 2 years, we've done over 100 million in revenue per year. And this year I'm trying to beat 200. So we're on the way there. I also started a wrap shop here in Miami. I learned pretty quickly that it wasn't for me. The profit is too small for what I'm already doing, thanks to you guys. And I just started selling cars because I opened the wrap shop. So I feel like everything happens for a reason. It was good experience, met a lot of clients, and now I'm in the car industry full time, but buying and selling, which is my strength. And anything you guys need in the States, hit me up. I think my prices are super good. And yeah, I deal with a lot of high network people, so.
Yeah, my goal by the end of this stream is you guys leave with enough knowledge to be able to buy a watch from this man one day, because this guy is out here doing it, and I want you guys to all get to that level as well. And there's two more people we need to introduce, and these are two people that I genuinely look up to and respect at the highest level. First up, I want to introduce my boy Zain. Zain is somebody I connected with around 2 years ago, and he's become a mentor to me. This guy is absolutely crushing it. And Zain, can you tell them a little bit about what you do for a living? And also, is that a green screen behind you, or do you actually live like that?
No, man. Yeah, I do fortunately live like this, but I always tell people part of my story when I grew up in a 500 square foot apartment. When you open up the window, there's a building next door that was a brick building. So that was my view growing up my entire life. So the first thing I ever did when I got money was moved into a place with a nice view. To me, I think that's one of the most important things anyone can do when you want to spend money in excess. Like, to me, like more than a car, a watch, or anything was like a view. Because when you wake up and you look outside and you see a view, it's like there's something about it for me that's inspiring. It just makes you go out there and work harder and gives you this like mentality. So for me, that was kind of the first thing I did. But going into my story, my name's Zain. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the residential solar industry. I got started in this thing literally selling solar, knocking doors at 18 years old. Fast forward to today, I'm one of the largest residential solar installers in the United States. I have 700 W-2 employees, 3,000 salespeople that are contractors, and then 71 companies that sell through us. In solar, there's a lot of different pieces and types of companies, but we are one of the few that are fully vertically integrated, meaning we do every single part of the business. So there's a lot of companies that are in the solar industry that use us for fulfillment. It's kind of like if you were to work with Amazon and you had a business and you needed to utilize them for fulfillment. It's the same exact way in our industry. We really are like the, cream of the crop fulfillment company. So we do about we sell about 3,000 homes a month. We install about half of that. Just based on the way the industry works, you'll sell a system, you'll get like a $40,000 contract, and then usually about half of those systems fall off when you get to install. So that's really my main business and how I got to where I am today. But I'm super excited to be here, Jordan. We got some power players on this call, some killers. Luke, Steve, awesome to meet you. I think you're the only one I haven't heard of yet, but you seem like the smartest in the room. So very nice to meet you. We got Neel, and then we got Umar. So nice to meet all of you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're killing it today. This is going to be fire. We got a ton of people in the chat, by the way. I want to say what's up to the chat. We got 4,000 people watching this live right now, so shout out to each and every one of you. Go ahead and drop some W's in the chat, man, for all these guys taking their time. If you want to go ahead and book a coaching call with one of these guys, be prepared to drop out 5,000, 10,000. Zain be charging like 50,000 for coaching. So to be able to sit here for an hour and learn from these guys is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The last introduction I want to do is from my boy Umar. This is somebody I found out around 2 years ago from a podcast with my boy Sky Hills, and his story was so captivating to me. We recently got connected, and it's somebody that I truly respect. So Umar, a little 60-second introduction to who you are, what you do, and then we'll keep it going from there.
Got it. Thank you for having me on, Jordan. Super excited to share the floor with these amazing people. So real quick about me, started trading about 10 years ago. Trading is my main vehicle that got me to where I'm at. From trading, I started a SaaS business called TradeZella, and I've been heavily focused on growing that SaaS business. And also built a trading floor here in Dubai, just trying to get traders come on the floor, trade, deploy capital, and manage them. That's kind of my quick introduction.
Yeah, and with trading, how much you think you brought in so far over your career?
Probably around $18 million.
Stop playing with him, man. There's a lot of people that's out here saying, oh, I'm a trader. Oh, I trade Forex. I do this. But this guy, he's posting real numbers. He'll log into his account and show you the real numbers. And that goes for all of these guys. There ain't no course gurus or foo-foo, whatever. Everybody in here is running real businesses, making real money. So we got a lot that we want to talk about today. There's many topics that I want to get into and a lot of stuff from the chat. The first thing I want to talk about, and this is an open conversation today, guys, so anybody can feel free to jump in when I bring up these topics. But one of the most common questions I get, and I know, Luke, you get this question a lot from the people. If you were starting over today with $0, you were just getting into the game of business, what would you do? If you could go back to square one when you were just getting started into this game, what would you do and how would you look at life knowing what you know now? And I want to hear this from all of you, but I want to start first with Luke.
I mean, first, it's a mindset shift. You know, it's understanding that things are possible if you wield them into existence. And a lot of people dream about things that they want to achieve, but they never put in the action. And if you have a mentality and you have a dream and you have an ambition, you have to actualize it through your habits, through your behavior. And that's the first part. You can't just have wishful thinking. You need to be able to be in a situation whereby you take action. And take action isn't good enough. It means it needs to be repetitive, consistent action, because we understand that consistency compounds. The compounding effect is extremely powerful. So now that you have your mindset shift, right, the second thing you need is self-education, right? We understand that only the educated are free. You can't just be a hustler and go out there and assume that you're going to make money. You need to understand what money is, where it comes from, how businesses work, how payment processing works. You need to understand how to build teams. You need to understand how to manage supply chain, how to fulfill whatever service or product you're fulfilling, and you need to become a multi-chain, multi-skilled individual. This means that you need to become multi-vertical. So if you're, for example, running an e-commerce business, you can't just be good at running ads, right? You need to be good at running ads, customer service, fulfillment. You need to understand the basics of payment processing, things of this nature, right? So in my opinion, if I was starting from zero, now that I have self-education as one of the pillars, I have the self-belief as the second pillar. The third pillar is I need to be able to make money, right? In my opinion, still one of the most viable ways of making money is e-commerce. Today, I interviewed for Capital Club two different individuals. One individual is doing $40 million a year in e-commerce, and the other is a dynamic duo that's making about $30 million in e-commerce. So I understand it's still a very viable option. Neel, for example, he is in the e-commerce space, but he's just selling in a different format, right? He's still selling through electronic commerce. If you look at Umar, he's still selling through electronic commerce, right? It's a SaaS product, it's not a physical product, but it's still electronic commerce, right? Same thing goes for Zain, right? There's still an application that he has an electronic commerce factor attached to it. So my opinion is e-commerce, anything that has to do with the internet, is the best way to make money. Why? Because the barrier to entry is extremely low, right? And the margins can be extremely high if you understand how the market works. So what I see working right now that wasn't potentially the best during 2022 due to the markets not being good and supply chains being stressed is e-commerce, right? And I was building a thesis around the best vehicle and the best way to make money in 2023. And yes, trading is a phenomenal way, but Umar can attest to it, right? I listened to one of his podcasts and he's like, okay, yeah, I make $50,000 on a trade, but I didn't make it in 7 minutes or in 7 hours. I made it in 10 years, right? And I agree with that. It's extremely valuable to trade. I'm not a day trader myself. I'm like a long-term investor, but I made my initial money through e-commerce. So that's what I can speak on.
So
And
Steve is the same way, and I wanted to ask. Sorry to cut you off, Luke. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring this up because I agree with you, and I do believe that e-commerce is one of the best ways to get started. And I want to ask Steve about this because I actually don't know how you got started, Steve. And I know you've literally made.
Well, Steve got me into ecom. That's the thing. Steve got me into ecom. He flew me out. We were at one of his masterminds, and he showed me $111,000 day, and my mindset just shifted. Right, this was like 5 years ago, and I was like, oh fuck, like okay, this is a real deal thing. And he's just like refreshing the P&L on the old Shopify screen. He's like, look, bro, like you can actually do this as well. So I was like, okay, this is a viable option to make money. So a strategy that is really useful if you don't have a lot of money, which we're talking about capital intensive businesses at the times, is you are able to run TikTok organic, test a product. You don't have to have a lander. You don't have to have a Shopify store. You just test products, right, through creatives, see what works, and then you can deploy it into running ads. And it's a good viable option.
Yeah, that's right. There are other people in here that have done different businesses, though. And I know, Neel, your industry might be a little more difficult for people to get into if they're starting from zero. But I'm sure a lot of people reach out to you, Neel, asking about how to get into the watch game. Do you think doing this luxury retail business, selling watches, selling cars, is that accessible to a beginner, or you got to have money to play in that industry?
I think it's accessible to a beginner depending on the network you have to start with and the level of trust you have in people, like people have in you actually. For example, if Luke wanted to buy a watch from me and I was starting from zero, I could find it for a certain price, collect the money from Luke, pay for it, and then deliver it to Luke. But I've already built up trust with Luke, you know what I mean? So to start with zero, it's kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie. But it doesn't take a huge amount of savings to start flipping watches or even cars. I mean, you could buy we sold a car for $60,000 last week and we sold one for $400,000. I mean, we would sell a $6,000 car too. Don't get me. So what I'm saying is it could be a small amount. As long as you're interested enough in the market, like me, I eat, sleep, and breathe watches and cars. You know, I love it. So I study the market all day, whether it's like, it's not work to me. I'm just like, I'm always looking at the market. I know what's a good price on a car, and I have all the resources and tools in place where even if I was starting from zero today, I think I could come up pretty quickly.
Yeah. It really comes down to the network, if I'm understanding correctly, in that industry, because anybody can get the pieces, but not everybody has the people that they can sell them to. And you actually have what I would consider to be one of the most impressive networks of people. I mean, you're with like real A-list celebrities. You're with people that everybody knows. What have you found to be the key to connecting with these people? I remember yesterday, Neel, we were at an event, right? And I saw you there, and there was a bunch of actually your supporters there and your fans there. I even had these kids come up to me, and they were like, yo, bro, I want to get to know Neel. I want to be friends with Neel, but I don't know what to say to him. I don't know how to approach him. What do you say to people that want to connect with people like us? They want to get in the rooms with people like us. What have you found to be the key to networking with this caliber of people?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, right? I get nervous too when I go up to big people, but you just gotta do it. You just gotta, like Nike, bro, just do it. And people respect the hustle. People respect, like, for me, it's always about keeping my word, doing what's ethical. Like, I don't try to make a single dollar if it's not the ethical way. And I think people really like that how much I honor my word, and that they can trust me with their eyes closed. And I think that's what leads, like, one big guy to tell the next big guy about me, and then it's game over from there. You know, when you come referred with strong referral, you're locked in.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I appreciate you sharing that game. Hey, Zain, you there? Because I wanted to ask you, I know we're talking about how e-com is one of the best ways to get started for beginners, but as I think about it more, you actually have the best thing for beginners. What you offer, having people work as salespeople for your company or working as salespeople for any company for that regard, as I think about it, that's probably one of the best ways to get started and make some money. Like, you could go and start a business, but you could go and do sales for somebody else's company and get your feet wet into the game and get off the ground. What do you think about that? Do you think if I was starting over from zero today, I would be better off running a business or actually doing sales for a company?
Well, you're always selling to some degree, no matter what you do in your life. You're always knocking on someone's door. When Neel goes and sells a watch, he is selling someone something. No matter how anyone looks at it, whether you're creating an experience, you're selling someone, even if you're doing e-commerce and you have no human interaction, right? In order to create e-commerce sales, what do you have to do? You do have to sell a product. When you're marketing on Facebook, you are selling a product. So learning sales, to me, is the most fundamental skill that anyone can learn in any business. When we face an economic downturn, what's the biggest thing that companies look at? They look at, who can I cut? And the last place that they go is sales. They never start at sales. Why? Because sales brings in revenue. They always will start with the people that are taking up the space, and they will go all the way down. And the last people that they will think about is sales. So I knew that early on getting into the industry that I wanted to become really good at sales. So I started in sales at 18 years old, knocking on doors. I tell this to people all the time. I think every single person that has no access to capital or connections or anything like that should go and knock doors at the age of 18 years old. It is the most, it is one of the hardest things to do. You have to have an extreme level of discipline, and you are going to face a shit ton of rejection. You will knock doors. You'll have people yell at you. You'll have people cuss at you. You'll have people, tell you crazy stuff. I've had people chase me with a drill. I've had people pull a gun on me. I've had people pull a knife on me. I've literally been through every situation you could imagine at the doors. I probably knocked over 10,000 doors myself. And doing those interactions and having those things, you build this type of grit, and you just learn how to really elevate your mind to another level to where you have control over your environment. What I mean by that is, when you go and you have all of these conversations, you quickly go from selling people to controlling your environment. Right? And a lot of people look at control as like a negative thing. I look at control as a very positive thing. When you walk into a room, you have a certain aura and you have a certain presence. And when you have a high amount of conviction in the product that you have, you will win. So when I look at, I have tons of 18-year-old people who work for me. I have a kid named Chance. He's probably watching this right now. He's 21 years old. He DM'd me at 18 years old. He lived in Wisconsin. He literally had zero business experience and zero sales experience. This year, he's going to make $3.5 million working for me. This is a salesperson that went door to door with zero experience. And I have a lot of success stories just like that of people who have come out to work with me with zero experience. So to me, there's a lot of different things you can do once you start making money. Once you start building connections and relationships, really, all of these industries open up and you can start doing cool things. I can go and do this thing in e-commerce. I can work with Neel on watches. I can go do this thing here. It's super cool. But before you get started, no one's going to respect you or give you the time of day if you haven't created something. So you really have to go out there and you have to be alone and you have to create something for yourself. So that's why I always tell, especially young men, go out there and knock doors, learn sales, make a shit ton of money, bank it up, and then take that money and go and network with other people. Go to, better places, go to events, go to conferences, go to places where you can actually meet people that all want to level up and grow each other. And you're going to naturally just attract success. Even today, I look at my circle every single day and I'm like, Is there someone who's around me that I don't want to be around me because they don't bring me up, they only bring me down? So I'm constantly auditing my circle and just looking around and saying, who are the individuals that I want to be around that are going to level me up and grow me even at my level? And at this point, dude, I'm still a student and I'm learning every single day. But the only reason I'm here and people are willing to even listen to me isn't because of this view. I was looking at the chat and a bunch of people are like, "Oh, your view is fake." Well, you're never going to be successful if you have that mentality, right? Jordan, you've been to my house, you've seen my view, right? Jordan,
real.
when Jordan first met me, the first thing he messaged me wasn't, "Oh, your view's fake." The first thing he messaged me was, "Hey, how can I learn from you? How could I work together with you? How could we be friends?" We started working out together in the gym. I started giving him some tips and some ideas. I also asked him questions about YouTube and content because he dominates that space and does really good. So when you start to become successful, the more success you get, the more you realize you don't have enough information and you got to get around the right people and start to learn. So that's really my tip for a lot of people. But I would just say, if I were to, like, if I was 18 years old right now and I had to tell myself one thing, it would be forget everything else and just go and learn how to sell, and you will have money for the rest of your life.
I actually did door-to-door sales when I was 18 for a summer. I was selling books, 100%. It is fundamentally one of the hardest things you will ever do. But if you can sell door to door, you can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do door-to-door sales, but I did a video where I went to Star Island in Miami, and y'all live in Miami, y'all know what that's like. I went over there to Star Island, and I was literally walking around knocking on the doors of these houses, and that was one of the hardest things I've done for my channel. Like, people were telling me to, like, fuck off. Somebody took their dog outside and let the dog run at me. We had the cops called on us. Like, and in the result, we ended up making one of my most viral videos ever, and it kind of like kickstarted my channel last year. But door to door is difficult, but it teaches you resilience, and it teaches you a skill that you can apply to nearly any industry. Now, I want to flip it on the complete opposite side over to Steve, because Steve, you weren't out here doing door to door. You weren't out here doing a physical business. Everything you've done has been online, right? You've done pretty much entirely e-commerce.
For sure. Like when I hear you guys talking about door to door, like I have a lot of respect for you guys, because it was something hard for me, to be honest. Like trying door to door, even like just going to sell people things. I tried it in Singapore a little bit, but I just realized it wasn't really for me. I was kind of shy. I just prefer like being the guy behind the computer, just selling things. So I think the easiest path for me was to kind of like, get into internet marketing at the point of time. But even if I was to go back right now to 18, I'll definitely go into like a scalable industry whereby I could arbitrage whatever I can do, like be it sales or be it being an affiliate. I think that would be kind of like the fastest way for me to build cash, and using that cash, and I can flip the cash into something that I can leverage or multiply it quickly. So I would definitely wouldn't work so hard with all the knowledge I have right now compared to 18. I'll be smarter with how I use the funds in multiplying those funds into different businesses, partnerships, or like getting myself positioned into different ecosystems that I want to be, playing a part in the future. So with like, for example, like with what I've built, my connections, my resources, my community, I was able to get into a lot of rooms with a lot of people. And I think that kind of lays the foundation for me to get into a lot of partnerships with really good people that I can trust, that can run a lot of different businesses for me, while I kind of take the back seat and being able to see the businesses from a macro view and being able to make like I think I would say longer term decision making that would have like wealth building for a really generation wealth kind of like play. So
Yeah,
when I was younger, I
totally.
think like just running around in circles is kind of like it's kind of tough, right? I think a lot of people are still gonna go through that phase, in life. But I think the important thing is to really invest in yourself, because when I started investing a lot into myself using the money that I've made, I think it made me really realize that I was just the small player in my category when I was in my earlier days. So when I was making about 100K per month, I thought I was like, cream of the crop. But when I went to the US during then, I started hanging out with a lot of like big time digital marketers. I was like, oh shit, like I'm just small. And that kind of like really pushed me forward. Like, how can I get to the next stage? How can I like hang out with?
You had the same effect.
Yeah.
You had the same effect on me because when I started with ecom and I was making 3,000 a day, 5,000 a day, 10,000 a day, I really thought I was doing something crazy. And then I go on Facebook and I see the super tan bros, y'all out here doing 100K a day. You like one of the first people having a Lamborghini in Singapore because nobody else could get it out there. I was like, yeah, these guys are different. So
Jordan, sorry to cut you off, bro, but like it's literally all what Zain said, you know, it's surround yourself with people who are better and bigger, and like you'll just want more, you know. Everyone's just saying this basically. And same with me, when I got to the States, my goal was to make $1,000 a day, and then I get here and I see people spending 10,000 at the club on bottles, and I'm like, shit, I'm doing something wrong. You know? It helps you level up.
I've personally witnessed Neel get a $30,000 bill at a club, man. This guy loves to party.
You too, Zain. Stop capping. You be outside too, man. You probably spent more than Neel over your career of partying.
We'll be outside together soon, guys.
Yeah.
Bro, let me tell you guys real quick a party story. So Steve flies me out to Singapore, and he's like, "Bro, you want to see crazy rich Asian wealth? Because obviously Singapore's just on a different level." He's like, "Okay, let me take you out to this club." We start going out to this club, and to the front of the club, there's like the bottom service girls, and obviously, you know, based on culture, you can basically bid for the girl to come and drink with you. So they start this dick swinging contest of bidding, right? $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, 40, 60, 80 grand. So the final bid for a girl, a Japanese blonde chick to come and drink with you, 80 G's. And I look at that, I'm like, bro, there's literally levels to the levels, and that's all based off of the exposure.
Wait, they paid 80 just for her to come
drink with you?
They could just buy the watch and the girl will go up.
Yeah, bro.
Wait,
Yeah, bro. But
did you get
money,
one?
bro.
Did you get
If
like
80
one touch?
It was just like whatever, right? Because you're sitting on so much money, it just makes you realize, you know, if you're sitting on 100 grand, it's really not that much not to protect it, not to do things of this nature. And some people may be like, oh, that's crazy, that's stupid. But some people look at money like monopoly paper, and it's like it really has no significance, no value whatsoever. And that's just because there's just so much abundance of it. So just levels to the levels, bro.
Yo, chat. If you guys had $10 million in the bank, are you dropping $80,000 to have a drink with a 9.5 out of 10 blonde Asian woman?
Question.
Let me know in the chat, please.
I have a question, Jordan. Was it just a drink? Was it just having a drink with you? $80,000. Was it just a drink,
bro? Steve, what was it, bro?
What do you mean by that?
I feel like that.
I think it might be a little bit sensitive to talk it online.
And we'll move on.
If it's just a drink, we're in the wrong business then. We're all in the wrong business.
But you guys have to understand, like, Singapore has a really high concentration of billionaires, and it's so small. There's only 5 million. You can get from one point to the other point in like 50 minutes or less, right? So like, there's only a couple of really, really nice clubs in Singapore, right? Of course, there are different kind of clubs, right? There's like the US marquee clubs where people like a table, like a sofa is. If you don't spend like 20, 30K a night, if you have a special DJ from US or whichever, easily 40, 50K a night. So it's really different. Like the club that I brought Luke was kind of like to show him, like there's like different kind of clubs around the world. It's not all just like, oh, DJ's here and just doing stuff. So that club was kind of like more like there was a lot of like entertainers, they call it. So
yeah,
they don't do crazy shit like, you know, like strip clubs or what in Singapore, but they would just like bring you guys, and they have like, it's kind of funny. You have a lot of girls on stage whereby you could choose who you like to drink with, and you can just kind of tip her, right? But sometimes it's an ego game, right? When people go there, oh, maybe like, all right, for example, Neel tips $1,000, and maybe if I like that guy, like that girl, I'll tip $2,000, so I'll get her attention. So maybe another millionaire, oh, all right, fuck this guy, is 5,000 here, right? So yeah, it's an ego play game. Like it's a place whereby people just go there, just like splurge money and just get
the nightlife world is funny, man. Even in Miami,
I feel like there's a point to it, though, right? Like, as crazy as that is, right? Like, Luke, you seeing that for the first time, many people might just be like, oh my God, that's so stupid. But you see that and you're like, there's some motherfucker out there that can spend $80,000 for a girl to stand right next to him. I had the same experience I was shout out to RD Wires Only. I know Neel knows him. He's one of the biggest exotic car dealers in the game, and I was in Italy, and he was like, dude, I'm hopping on a super yacht. I'd love for you to come. I was like, dude, I'd love to be there. I had no expectation. I didn't know. I'm here thinking, oh, I'm some big baller. I have a huge company. You know, I'm making hundreds of millions of dollars. This is sick. And I go, we take this tender to this super yacht. It's a $500 million yacht. We hop on there. I meet Jamie Foxx. I meet Leo, right? I meet two of the biggest movie stars on planet Earth. I'm sitting there. There's probably like 10 dudes on there and like 40 girls walking around. And then I see one of the owners of the boat and we're talking. And I'm like, how much does it cost to run this thing? He's like, yeah, it's like 80 to $90 million annually. And I sit there and I'm just like, bro, this is one of this guy's 17 toys, right? And he pays $80 million a year to run this. I am a peasant. I'm a little broke loser, right? And I think like that, and I go back and I work harder because I'm like, dude, as big as I am in my little world, in my little circle, there's people that are 10,000 times bigger than me. And the more you surround yourself with people like that, you could do one of two things. You could either be pissed off and be like, oh my God, that's a fake view. Oh my God, that's so irresponsible paying $80,000. What a
fake view in the chat. Fake view in the chat. It really bugs Zain. So I want everybody to spam fake views.
Or you could look at that and just say, dude, that's fucking sick that someone can do that. God bless that person. I want to figure out how to make that happen because it is possible.
Nah, I know that's right. Learning to think bigger is one of the biggest things that grew me in my career, but it's hard, you know, when you're somebody and you're coming from a difficult environment, you're coming from a different country where you don't see those things. It's hard to see that. You see these anomalies like us on the internet and you think that there's something so different about us, but we all come from our own backgrounds when we got to this point today. I want to move on though. I want to get into some other things because I want to respect
in the chat.
What's up, Neel?
Where do you get a job? I see in the chat, where do you get a sales job to make 30K a month? I can provide, Zain can provide, I don't know who else. I'm sure a lot of us can, you know?
Yeah, if you got the skills.
Yeah, commission, like if you guys sell, you know, we pay commission, that's how it works, so.
Yeah, if you guys got the skill set, you'd be surprised how many opportunities are out there. It's really just a matter of skill acquisition. Luke really hammered this point home for me. It's that the people that make the most money are the best at the skill that they do, you know? And if you can pick one thing and really lock in and become as good as possible at that thing, you'll never be broke again. And that's what I'll wrap up this topic of starting from zero with. It's that if you are having nothing, what you need to start doing is building up a skill. You need to start building up something that provides value to the world and get so good at that thing that people will pay you for it. And the better you get, the more money you're gonna make. Because at the end of the day, money is just an equation. Money is correlated to the value that you can provide to the world. So long as you can provide more value, you can make more money. So I wanna move on now. Somebody in the chat actually donated. So they asked a question that I think is really good. By the way,
what about Umar? What about Umar, bro? What about Umar, though?
I want to bring it to Umar. This was a question for Umar. I think it's perfect for you. He's asking, how do you suggest navigating the digital world to acquire knowledge? I know when it comes to trading, there is so many misinformation, fake gurus, scammers, people out here that's giving bad information about investing, teaching you how to get rich in 30 seconds. How do you navigate the digital world, and how do you see who's real and who's fake? And what advice do you have for people that want to start making money with trading?
Sure. So I just wanted to answer your last question about starting from the beginning. I didn't answer that, and I wanted to answer because a lot of people that do start, they look at me and they want to dive into trading, and I kind of have a different approach. If I was to go back, I wouldn't do trading. I would actually hit up Zain for a job and get into sales, maybe, primarily because I would try to build capital as much as I possibly can. And if I'm able to build capital, I would then start looking to use that as a vehicle to get into stuff. Now, in terms of getting education in whatever field you're in, be it e-commerce, be it sales, be it trading, whatever, you know, information there is, you want to find someone that's actually doing it. Like, for example, if I want to learn something about e-commerce, I'm going to Luke, right? He has built, you know, companies that surround that. If I want to learn something about watches or, you know, the car business, I'll go to Neel. Same thing on learning how to run a real business, something in solar, something in sales. I'll go to Zain. So it's like, look at people that have done it, that have results. And if they have done it, they have results and proof to back it up. go and learn from those people. Pay whatever they're asking for and learn from them. Don't go and learn from the guy that has a Lambo or a Ferrari or a cool car or whatever the case is. Look at people that actually have something to back it up, right? Because in today's time, you'll see so many people with nonsense, so much bullshit, so much exciting stuff on social media. And honestly, that doesn't really mean anything. It's easy to obtain that. But the people that you actually speak to, you can see who has the knowledge, who has the real information, and who's actually been through war in their respective field. And if they have been through war, they have the experience, I think that's the people you should go and try to learn from.
That's right. Look at people's track record. Don't just look at their course results and the people that they've helped. Look at their track record. The reason why I brought you on here, Umar, is because out of everybody I see in this world of trading, and maybe you know more about the industry than I do, out of everybody I see in this world, you are the one that is consistently posting your wins and your losses. If you have a day where you don't hit big, you still share that with the people. And I think for me, that's the thing I respect about you the most. And that's why you've built such a strong fan base, is because you're honest, you're transparent. And I try to be the same in my journey. I want to move on to this next topic. And this is a heavy hitter, okay? And I want you to lead this one with me, Umar. I want to talk about the current state of the market. I want to talk about the recession. I want to talk about the debt ceiling. A lot of people are out here panicking, feeling like everything is about to collapse and it's going to be one of the biggest crashes in history. I want you to hear your perspective on that as a trader, as somebody who's analyzing the market every single day. Do you think we're headed for a massive recession? And how can everybody in the chat prepare for that?
Sure. So from a trader's point of view, realistically, it doesn't matter, right? Because we're profiting off the short-term movements of the market. So from one angle, I kind of don't care. But from like a macro point of view, I do think it's possible. A lot of it kind of comes down to the Feds, how the Feds keep responding to printing money, increasing interest rates and things like that. So I think it will be contingent on everything surrounding that. In terms of the debt ceiling situation, that's been happening for the past few years. I think 2018, we had something similar. 2020, we had the same thing. They just keep increasing it over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, it's like, the currency of the US dollar is what's getting affected. The value, that the buying power that we have is what's ultimately getting affected. So that's what's causing a big downfall, in the purchasing power. And also in terms of the economy, what do I think we'll see a big recession? Honestly, I don't really know. I can't. It's hard to say. I don't even try to have pinpoints on things like this. I am heavy on cash at this particular point. If we do start seeing a big sell-off, if we start seeing a big, down from the markets, I am ready for that. I'm not comfortable at buying at these levels, but I'm not going to try to sit up here and be a financial analyst and predict what's going to happen. And it's just not my space.
I respect the honesty, bro. I really do. And what I think is most important, go ahead, please. I wanted to ask you this. I was throwing it to you next.
So what people need to understand, first of all, is what is this debt that we're paying, right? And in order for you to understand that, you need to understand how money is created. There's a really good book that I recommend everybody read. It's called Lords of Easy Money. It tells you how money is created, right? How money goes from wishful thinking to actually hitting the government funds, to then being dispersed to the top banks, and then of course hitting into your bank accounts. Now, the United States has debt, but the United States will never pay off its debt. Why? Because it only pays off its debt in its own currency, right? So it just has to print more money, and therefore it pays off its own debts. Other countries, right? So for example, a country in Africa, their currency or their economy is based off of their local currency. Therefore, if anything is happening with regards to the US dollar, their debt is in dollars. So these countries are going to be the ones struggling the most. The United States happens to just be in a situation right now where they are the global superpower of the world. And you see a lot of people talk about, oh, well, the yuan is going to replace the US dollar. That's impossible. There's no chance that the yuan will ever replace the dollar, because you need to understand how the Chinese economy works. And it works like an enclosed capsule, right? Most of the yuan exists inside of China, and it's a limited amount of yuan that can actually exit the market and be traded or allowed to be invested in foreign markets. So, a lot of Chinese billionaires, they're literally billionaires in China because they can't move their money out. And if they do, it's highly regulated. So I still believe that the U.S. is the strongest economic power in the world. Compared to what? Russia? Compared to what? China? It's unequal. And attached to that, you have the military power. So the United States is the military power of the world. So you do have that going for you. So with regards to the debt ceiling, it's a bullshit illusion, right? This idea of debt ceiling, there's no such thing as a debt ceiling to the United States of America. It's an imaginary illusion. And the moment the printers start going on, the markets go on. And when the printers turn off, the markets turn off. And just compare, it's a very simple analysis that you can do. Start looking at when the Fed stopped buying assets, right? That's when the market tanked. Start looking at when the Fed started buying assets. That's when the market tanked. And I was talking, I released it in the Datasets channel on my Telegram. I had a conversation with the former governor of the Central Bank of Albania at Capital Club, and he said the economic policies of the world and the economic ebbs and flows of money are completely tied to the policy of the central bank. So if you understand and you study the policy of the central bank, then you will understand the ebbs and flows of the market, because the central bank dictates when the money comes in, when the money goes out. And if you can understand these cycles, you will understand where the market is headed ahead of time.
I had a quick question. I just wanted to pivot on something, right? Because I have a different point of view on some of these topics, right? Because a lot of people that start out, when they look at what's going on with the economy, recession, things like that, especially someone that's 18 or someone that's 25 or 27 that doesn't really have any money, I'm like, I don't think you should focus on all of that. I think you should focus on trying to make money, trying to produce some sort of income, because it's not really going to impact you. It's going to impact the people that have tons of money, who are losing value on their money and so on. So I think people that are just starting out, or people that don't have money right now, just focus on making money. Don't worry about a recession. Don't worry about any of that. None of that really matters until you get to that stage. So that's something I wanted to kind of throw in.
Sorry to cut you off, bro, Umar. Like, I've built up a lot of capital, and I put none of my money in the markets. I reinvest every dollar into my business. I don't know if that's the smartest thing, but like, to me, the market and the world's conditions really, they don't make a difference. Like, my sales goes directly with my marketing. The more I put into marketing, the more I sell. So if you focus on what you're doing,
I agree. If you're a brokey, the last thing you need to be worried about on top of your paying your bills and taking care of your family is what the government is doing with monetary policy. As much as, and it could be a fear tactic as well to add to your stress levels, right? But at the end of the day, it's like the guy said, it's good to have kind of like a perspective of what's going on, but it shouldn't be your focus. Right? Your focus should be a development of your skill, development of your network, going and making money.
I agree 100%.
I always say this. What does it do to you if you have $400 in your bank account? What does the economy do to you? That is most of people complaining. I look at these comments on these posts, right? Like, you'll see on Instagram all the time, oh my God, we're going into a world recession, posted on @wealth. And then you look at all these comments and it's like this and that and the government. And then I go to this page and the first thing I see is some dude sitting there in his dorm with a fucking bong as his first picture. This guy has $100 to his name and he's worried about the recession. The recession is not for people who are coming up to worry about. If anything, you should be pumped up about a recession if you are broke right now, because it is the time where you have opportunity. If you have mental fortitude and discipline and you're willing to work, it is the time for you to go up and eat up all the opportunity. Because people like me, during a recession, I look for killers and producers. I look for A players. I look for people who are hungry and extremely efficient. So I'm trying to weed out all the people in my business who are inefficient, who are lazy, who aren't really bringing what they have to the table. And I'm looking for the people that are hungry and motivated. So I think a lot of people just spend way too much time thinking about what's going on in the world and watching the news and letting people fearmonger on them, which is what the media is essentially for. It's to scare everyone and to put everyone into this trance. But at the end of the day, when you think of the recession, right? Like, what actually changed? If you just think about it logically, what actually changed? At the end of the day, it's just people's psychology, right?
And the rich people got richer, and the poor people got poor.
Exactly. And what's happening to the poor people? they stay scared and they talk about it more over and over and over again. Why? Because fear sells. And then what happens? If I'm super wealthy, all this stuff comes down in price. I take all my capital that I've been saving up, I dump it into all these assets at a discount, and then the market goes back up and things are good and people start buying everything. I'm sure Neil's seen this, right? He has a lot of ballers who come in with him, but I'm sure there's sometimes where he sells a watch and he looks at a guy and he's like, this guy should not be buying this $300,000 watch right now.
All the time
right?
in Miami, I mean, people spend all their money on flexing, you know, the car, the watch, and like we all have it too, but I think we do it more responsibly.
100%. I know a guy who finances cars, and he was working with a super big rapper. I'm not going to say his name, but he was buying a $1 million Ferrari, and he's like, okay, I'm going to help you get it financed. Send me over your bank deposit statements. And he sends him over his bank statements, and this guy has $100 in the bank account. Sure, his accounts go up, but then they come down, and then they go up, and then they come down. It's not because he doesn't know how to produce income. It's because he doesn't know what to do with it. And as soon as he makes money, he just dumps it back into something. So I think at the end of the day, for most people, talking about the recession will do nothing. I think they should get out there and work and figure out how to work harder, because this is the biggest opportunity for them.
I want to add to this real quick, Luke.
There's skill sets that you can build that are recession proof. There's recession proof skill sets. Like if you understand how to sell, if you understand how to market, if you understand how to build teams, these are recession proof skills. It doesn't matter what currency exists. If we're selling or trading salt and pepper as the main currency of the world, or if it's US dollars, right? It's all intrinsic value. The same skill sets that applied 2,000 years ago to becoming rich at a general perspective apply today. So I agree with the boys 100%.
Yeah, you know what I found is that, especially a lot of you guys, you're watching my live stream today, so I know you spend a lot of time on YouTube. There are so many channels on YouTube, especially in the finance niche, that are portraying this message of fear that is constantly flooding your mind and distracting you from the bigger purpose. You're broke, but you're watching videos about the debt ceiling and the market crash and the Great Reset. And it's good to understand this information, but you cannot let it run your mind. You have to focus on what's truly important. And I'm glad we discussed this today on this call. Now, I want to talk about one other thing and then start taking some questions from the chat. I want to give a quick rapid fire piece of game for all the people. I want to ask you guys, because you're all very successful in what you do. What is one thing that you do every single day that you feel has been a massive contributor to your success? I would like to go with Neel first.
The gym, 100%. To me, the gym, like, it just gets everything going. It gets your mind right. Like, if you have the discipline to hit the gym every day, I think you have the discipline to do anything you put your mind to, really.
I would agree
Especially
with that.
because when you start making money, I don't need to be ripped or be good looking to get women or cars or whatever. I have the money, you know? I think the gym sets the discipline for the rest of my life.
Let's hear from the rest of you guys. I want to know. There's got to be one thing that you do every single day. It might not even be a physical thing. It might be a mental challenge that you run yourself through. I want to know on a daily basis, what is one thing you guys are doing that you feel like has helped you over the last couple of years?
For me, I think it's setting time aside to think and process everything that is going on in my businesses, in my day-to-day, and being able to really process that, right? I think we live in such a fast-paced society that everything happens throughout the day with social media, with work, whatever you're running, right? It becomes really hard to process and think the next 10, 20 steps forward. So me giving myself that time, at least an hour or 45 minutes a day, no matter what, put my phone away, put whatever it is away, go for a walk, or sit in my room by myself, or whatever the case is, that has helped me and transformed a lot of things in my life. It has allowed me to think 10 steps forward. It has allowed me to avoid certain problems in my life, avoid certain things in the future that would have been problems, and has just made a massive improvement in my life.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's having every hour of my day accounted for. I find that I do horribly when I don't have stuff to do or when I'm not busy. So every single day, I have to have every hour accounted for. So the day before, I'm planning my entire day. I live by calendar. So obviously, I do impromptu stuff like this. You know what I mean? It pops up and I have to move some stuff around. But every single day, from the minute that I wake up until I hit the bed, I want to be doing something or taking some sort of action. And what I've found that that's done for me is I've been able to just grow a lot faster because I'm never wasting time. A lot of people, if you look at them and you look at their day-to-day schedules, especially when they're not successful, it's one thing when you have a lot of money, right? You can invest your capital, you can do different things, and you can make money. But when you're coming up and you're learning how to make money, you have to be able to be willing to put in every single living hour that you have into growth. So whether that's reading a book or all the way up to going to the gym, making a sales call, or just purely working throughout the day, you have to be able to actually get stuff done because at the end of the day, dude, me and you, we both have 24 hours in our day. And how we spend it is completely up to us. And the most people that I meet, dude, they spend 4 hours fucking off and then they make a call and then they spent 1 hour depressed about their girlfriend breaking up with them. And they go through all these things. Then you look at their day and it's like, dude, you just spent 8 hours of your day doing stupid shit when those 8 hours could be intentional being put towards something that's actually going to grow you. So I would just say every day knowing exactly what I'm going to do and working every hour until I go to sleep. And then again, for me, dude, exactly like Neel, like whatever I do, whether it's the gym, whether it's going out, like I'm always connecting work in some way. I don't believe in this fake kind of mythical work-life balance. I think all of it is one. You're in fucking life. And I think when you try to separate them, you start to create these false boundaries that don't need to exist. When I'm out at dinner or I'm talking to someone like Neel, I'm talking to Luke, I'm talking to Umar, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to Steve, I consider that work, right? This is work for me right now because I can talk to you guys, I can get some ideas, I can learn, and then I can go and implement. But I think a lot of people try to separate those things.
Never clock out.
I agree, Zain. I think you hit some really good points there. And having clarity on your day and what you're focused on is super important. I want to actually keep going, though. Let's just keep this going because I think this is really valuable for the people. Steve, how about you, bro? What is there something that you do every single day that's been helping you in your career over the last couple of years?
I think journaling has been really helpful for me. Like every single day, I'll review my vision, right? I'll go through like, is my vision still aligned with what I want? Because every single day, I want to try to spend some time to connect with my vision, and of course, go through reaffirmations that I do day to day, my identity, my mindset, my traits as a human being, and I think that has really helped me stay focused on what's important in my life, not just from a financial aspect, but being a more round entrepreneur, right? Full stack, being able to understand my journey is definitely planned intentionally right from the start, and not just trying to like run in circles, because that running in circles has kind of like been a part as the growth. But as I realized, I start journaling and I start being very intentional about my future and my vision, I'm able to stay really on track with what I'm building, and the things that I'm working on are all things that I'm passionate and happy doing it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I journal a lot as well. Not every day, but I find when I'm getting overwhelmed or if I'm having a really good day, that's something that helps me come back down to earth and figure out what to do next. So I've probably gone through 30 journals since I started this journey in 2016, and I love journaling. So it's one of those things that I will do for the rest of my life. And maybe one day they'll have the Steve Tan journals published on Amazon. I would love to buy those. I want to see what you're talking about. Last, I want to talk about.
I want to read that journal, and I can't wait to find that day where he's spending $80K to have the girl come over.
And Luke, let's hear what you got to say. I know you're gonna take it. I know you're gonna end this at a nice level with this question. I want to hear what's something that you do on a daily basis.
Well, it's a double-sided perspective. The first one is surrounding myself with people that are bigger and greater and more developed than myself. I think a part of my success has always come from being the smallest person in the room, feeling inadequate in the room in which I stand. I think it has sobered me, it's given me humility, and it has given me a perspective that there are levels to the levels. I do not want to be in an echo chamber every single day where I'm being worshipped, or where I'm being praised, where everybody's saying, "Oh, you're the best guy in town, you're the best guy around." I'm intentional about the rooms that I get in, the people that I surround myself with, and the energy that I share with people. So every room that I go into, I want to be a student. I want to be uh, listening. I want to be learning. That's the first side. On the second side is gratitude. You know, on a spectrum of wealth per se, anywhere on the spectrum you lie, right? On the lowest side of the spectrum, you can have somebody that is, let's say, in a third world country that lives in a farm village that has no money. On the other side of the spectrum, you have Elon Musk, right? Or people that are extremely wealthy. Somewhere in that spectrum is you. Now, the question is, where on the spectrum are you perceiving? Right? Are you perceiving what you don't have? Are you looking at the people that have more than you, that have the things that you don't have? Are you looking at the other side of the spectrum of the people that, you know, you are more blessed than the lives that they live? So when I place myself in the spectrum, wherever it is that I am, I tend to look at the people that have less, the people that are less fortunate, the people that have less opportunity, and it gives me gratitude and it gives me sobriety of mind, because my journey is not about comparing myself to, oh, look at this guy that has a better house, or look at this person that has a better car, or there's always going to be somebody that has more and more and more. And in your journey as an entrepreneur, you're going to be in a situation where there's always going to be a dog with a bigger bone. Always. It's in perpetuity, always and forever. But being able to have gratitude, you know, position yourself in a room where people are educating you and humbling you, but simultaneously not allowing comparison to steal your joy. You know, not looking at the person that has more followers, not looking at the person that has more influence or more money, but looking at those that have less and being like, you know what, where I was 5 years ago and where I am today, if I was looking at the dude that I was 5 years ago, I'd be proud. And having that sobriety of mind and gratitude and placing yourself in a circle where you are a student of life is one of the things that I do every single day with intentionality in order to help me move forward.
It's crucial, bro. And I think we forget how blessed we truly are. Obviously, this round table, we've all been successful, but I'm talking to everybody in the chat right now. We got 4,000, almost 5,000 people here today. The fact that you're watching this, you're on a computer, you're on a phone, you have access to internet, you drank some water today, you're safe today, is something that you need to appreciate, because what happens is you guys get so wrapped up in your heads that you're thinking you're a failure because you didn't become a millionaire by 24 because everybody else is doing it. And now you're depressed. And now you're not happy, and you can't possibly have the mental fortitude to succeed in the industry that you're trying to succeed. So it comes down at the essence to appreciating where you're at this stage of your life. That is the thing that will help you get to that next level.
I saw you two did a vlog together in the snow, like on the mountains, and I saw Luke talking about prayer, and like that was one thing for me, like thanking God every day for what I have, you know, and like just saying thanks for what you have. Like you woke up, you're breathing, you know,
Yes.
God's given you the capability to make the money that we all make, and that's enough, you know, to be thankful for.
To whom much is given, much is required. And this is one of the reasons why I kind of do this is, you know, if God blesses you with opportunity and God blesses you with the ability to take care of others, it is your duty and your responsibility to do so. You know, the reason I buy all my watches from Neel, for example, is because I understand how he does business, right? So he's a man of integrity, how he operates. He's never cheated me. He has a good reputation that precedes him. And even in your business, you can utilize it as an act of worship. You can use it as an act of reverence and obedience to God. So I agree. Understanding why you do what you do. And I said this to Jordan, you know, I said, what does a man gain if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul in the process? He gains nothing whatsoever. And I think all of our principles tie in together. You know, Steve made hundreds of millions of dollars. And when I sit and talk to him all the time, he's like, bro, but don't forget, you know, it's not all about money. It's not all about money. I'm like, yeah, but it's easy for you to say this now that you have money. But he's like, yeah, but because now that I have the money, I can tell you this out of experience. So don't make the same mistake. And yeah, it's a good type.
And guys, don't get us wrong. Like we've been given opportunity, and we're saying we thank God for it. But like, like I said, even if you wake up, that's enough to thank God for. And like, you got to go out and do what you put your mind to. Like, if you say, hey, I have this awesome idea, you can't just think it and then be depressed about your life. You got to go do it. Just like I did with my wrap shop. I lost money. It was a waste of my time, but I learned from it, you know, and now it started a new business, and I'm profiting great. And it's like, you just got to go out and do what you put your mind to. And if you fail, that's just going to help you become better. Sure.
It's amazing. I think this is one of the most valuable things we've discussed in this whole round table. So we're coming to the close of the round table here. Real quick, I want you guys to drop W's in the chat if you guys are enjoying this, if you've learned something, if you're feeling inspired, if you're feeling motivated right now. I want to say again, thank you to the people for being a part of this. All of you guys, it means the world to me that you took your time for this. To wrap up our stream today, I want to answer some questions from the chat. Are you guys cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I've got some donations of people coming through. Again, I tell you guys not to donate to me. Please put that money somewhere else, please. But people do it. So somebody had donated like 500. What's AED? I'm illiterate. What currency is that?
That's from Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay, so 500 in Dubai currency. That's less than US dollars.
Like
or more?
120 bucks.
It's like 100 something. That's like 100 something, I think.
All right, so
500 is like 100 something.
shout
I
out
think
to
it's 1 in 4, the dirham.
Shout out to Jack. He asks, this is a real quick question, yes or no. How many of you guys are holding Bitcoin? I will say yes for me.
Yes.
I think everybody here got a little bit of Bitcoin.
Yes.
You know, anybody that got money that I've met, they have some Bitcoin. It's a pretty standard thing for people to buy. But I just wanted to get to him because he donated, you know, some money.
But put your Bitcoin into watches.
Yeah,
It's better.
that's true. You probably be getting a lot of sales in crypto, huh? That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't hold crypto personally, though.
got you. It goes right back into the business. This kid in the chat, I've been seeing him the whole time. He's been asking the whole time this question. I want to bring it up because a lot of the viewers of this channel are younger. I know we got some older people too, and I love y'all as well. But the demographics say a lot of people are younger. For a 16-year-old, what should he be focusing on in his life at the age of 16 if he wants to one day become a millionaire and become successful?
Get a sales job.
Dude, I would say I would say like establish your principles in your life and commit to them and follow them, right? Like when you're 16 years old, you're super lost. You don't know what to do. You're insecure. You're worried about stuff. You don't know who to listen to. You don't know what's cool to do because again, you're just coming up and you're still developing, and you are a product of your environment. And I don't know about everyone on this call, but like for me, I grew up in a super kind of lower middle class town where everyone's mentality is extremely average. So when you're 16, listen to these basic things. Just set every single hour that you have in your day towards something productive. The few things that I would master is number one, your mind, right? You have to create that discipline and that mental fortitude. I've never met someone that is successful that is weak in the mind. Why? Because becoming successful takes a lot of work and it is not easy. And there is so many ups, but there is way more downs. And if you do not have the willpower to get through those downs, you will eventually fail. Again, a lot of people that I meet that aren't successful, it's not because they don't have the skills. It's not because they don't have the connections. It's not because they don't have the money. It's because they don't have the willpower to continue to go. So you have to start developing your mind at that age and doing things that really push you to the limit. So whether that's knocking doors, whether that's going to the gym, whatever it is, do something that's extremely uncomfortable. Number two, I would say is plan your next move. What I mean by that is when I'm 16 years old, I would plan by 18 years old to move out of my house and move to a place that I've never been to before where I know no one. Why? Because that is the most uncomfortable thing that you could do. It's going to put you in a situation to challenge yourself and then figure it out. And then the last thing I would figure out is communication. Communication is the universal language of the world. When you know how to communicate with people, you know how to network, you know how to sell, you know how to build relationships. That really is it's a form of capital. When you know how to communicate and you can talk to people and you can build these relationships, that is more valuable than money. So if you just learn how to sell and communicate, you learn how to have those standards and those principles and you stick by them, like showing up on time or always being a man of your word and just doing the same things every single day and following something and then putting yourself like all mixed with putting yourself in an extremely uncomfortable environment. I see that as the winning formula. I think you will 100% succeed if you follow those steps.
you just hit the target with that, bro.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. I really, really, really hope you guys are paying attention right now and taking notes and not mindlessly scrolling TikTok or Instagram, because Zain just dropped $1 billion worth of game on y'all. He literally gave you the formula. So if any of you guys are paying attention and you leave this live today and you do nothing with your life and you don't change the things that you're doing, you don't deserve to be successful. Taking the advice from this video today and then going instantly after and applying it on a daily basis is the thing that's gonna make the difference. It's great that you guys showed up today, but what really matters is what are you gonna do with this information? Do you guys have anything else to add about the 16-year-old advice, or do you wanna move on to the next and final question?
I actually want to add something. I want to add something that I see going around social media a lot is where if you're 16, go find your passion, go work on your passion. I think working on a passion project is a luxury. I think when you're young, go and aim to make money, learn a skill set, and then once you do that and you have money, the amount of money you want, then go find a passion to work on that. I think so many people are brainwashed with, I don't know what my passion is. I don't want to do this job. I don't want to do that job. It's not something I'm passionate about. Well, you can't pick right now. You can pick when you have money. So learn skills, develop skills, make money, and then go into the passion part.
To go off.
Dude, I
of
love
Umar's
that. I fucking love that, dude.
You should
That's-
start uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable is when you're gonna learn, and you're gonna be put in spots where you're not used to, and you're gonna do stuff that you're not used to doing. You know, so.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, "To develop a complete mind, study the art of science and study the science of art. Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. In your life, everything that you do as a young individual, the what you do today will have an echo tomorrow. To develop a complete mind, if you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you need to develop multiple skills. You need to develop multiple aspects of life. You can't just be focused on money. You can't be single dimensional. You need to be multidimensional. You need to be able to see things for what they are, not for how you perceive them to be. If you want to be successful, you need to develop a complete mind. How you treat your spouse will translate how you treat your business partners, will translate how you treat your employees. How you think about yourself will reflect itself on how you treat others. So once again, understand Da Vinci, right? At his time, he was misunderstood. He was considered a crazy man. But today we revere him as a genius of many sorts. So when the man says to develop a complete mind, study the art of science and study the science of art, learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else, you need to understand that what you do has a ripple effect in every other area of your life. And that allows you to live a life of intentionality, that everything that you do, and this is what all these gentlemen are talking about, they move with intention. So every action that you take, every book that you read, every person that you listen to, it is designed to develop a complete mind. And a complete mind allows you to be well-rounded in a world that is unbalanced with people that don't know where they're going, they don't know how to see. And your ability to be perspicacious and to see that which most people cannot see is what will give you the advantage in the marketplace, in relationships, in business, and overall life.
The takeaway that I want everybody to get from what Luke just said is you must live a life of intentionality. Every single action that you take in this life has an equal reaction. And we often go through life on autopilot. We do these things and we don't realize how they're impacting us because in the short term, we don't see any effects from them. But think about how that compounds over time. If you're doing dumb shit, if you're eating bad food, if you're consuming low quality content, if you're hanging out with stupid people all day, it's going to compound. And in 10 years, you're going to look back at your life and be like, where did all my time go? But on the flip side, if you do what you know what is right in your heart every single day, at bare minimum, try your best to do that, you could do things bigger than you ever thought possible. You know, I knew I was going to make money and I always knew that I was on the right path, but I never knew that it would get to 1 million subscribers this fast. I never knew I would make, this much money this fast. I never knew I'd be in the rooms with these type of people at this stage of my life. It's only because I did the work on a consistent basis and I did the right things that it compounds and I'm here today. So that's where I wanted you guys to really take away from what Luke was saying, because it's so true. You have to live life intentionally. These actions that you take on a daily basis, they have to be with intention.
And like to go off what Jordan said, if you guys are hanging out with bad people, eating bad, the worst thing you can do, and I have addictions like of my own, the worst thing you can do is say today is the last day. Because you're going to do it today, you're going to do it tomorrow, and say tomorrow's the last day. Like, if you guys want to do something, like I keep saying, like Nike, just do it, you know? Like, just fucking go for it, and you'll get it. Like, if you put your mind to something, you may fail once, you may fail twice, but then, like, all the experience will just make you win in the end. You just got to put the time in. That's all it is, and doing it.
That's right.
So all of us are going to get... all of us are now going to get Neel to quit that addiction of that cancer stick in his hand. Neel, I want you to grab
L vape in the chat, man.
There we go. We're done.
He's gonna go buy another one. He's gonna go buy another one.
His dog is gonna get it for him.
This man got a whole box in the crib. But nah, I really think that's such a good piece of advice, is that just do it. The last thing I want to end with, the last question of this whole chat, and again, shout out to everybody in the chat. We had around 5,000 people hanging out with us for the whole hour. Shout out to everybody on my round table today. I appreciate you guys. First off, I want to know in the chat, is this something that you guys want to see again? Go ahead and give me some W's in the chat if you guys want to see some of these people back on. Let me know who you want to see back on. The last question I want to end with is, everybody here is watching because they want to learn from you guys, right? Everybody here is watching because they might look up to you guys as their mentor. In your careers, I'll just ask all of you, yes or no, have you had a mentor that helped you get to the next level?
Me personally, I've had a million mentors, books, videos, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I find it to be pretty consistent amongst everybody that is successful, that they've had a mentor in their life. But a lot of people, they're sitting at their mom's house, or they're sitting with their wife and children, and they're working a dead-end job, and they're asking, how can I find a mentor? How can I find a sensei, somebody that's going to show me the way, show me what's working for them? How can I find a mentor? That is the question I want to ask to you guys, because we've all had mentors. I've got my own stories. But how were you guys able to find the mentors in your life that got you to the next level?
I'd say on this, so
Go ahead.
I would say on this, you need to provide value. Every single day, I have people that reach out and ask me for things. I absolutely will never respond to those people, give them any direction, because they are coming to me with zero value, and to me, it's actually disrespectful. I think when I go back to me being 16, 17, 18 years old, I didn't want to ask anyone for anything. I wanted to figure it out, and I wanted to see how I could provide value. Going back to kind of one of the topics of this call that we talked a lot about was like sales, right? The reason I love sales is because it's the one place where I can find an entrepreneur that I really look up to. And if I want to provide them value, I'm just going to go work for them for free on commission only. And I'm going to go and I'm going to prove to them that I could sell a lot of their products. Eventually, I will get their attention, and then they naturally will help me. But I think when people go into conversations with someone that they've never, ever met before, they're being a fan bird of them. They're like, oh my God, I really look up to you. Hey, Zain, what's the biggest tip that you have on success? Like, listen, dude, I'm a busy person, and I'm not arrogant. I'm not a dick. But at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, me giving you 3 tips to success isn't going to change your life on the spot. I've never met someone that's like, dude, you told me that one thing and I went and I'm super successful. No, that one thing might have helped you a little bit. But at the end of the day, dude, you got to go make it kind of on your own, which I know maybe it's not the advice people want to hear, but it is a lonely path at the beginning of success. But as long as you put in the work, you will eventually become more known. You will make more money. You will provide more successful people value. And then they will start to mentor you out of pure respect, number one. And then number two, out of you providing value to them. I'm not saying that they always have to get something out of you. But when someone, like when I see someone who's a hard worker and a producer and they're doing something in their life, I will give them advice for free all day long because I respect the work that they're doing and I know how much it's going to help them. But when I see someone who just watches YouTube all day, goes to every 10X growth conference, watches Gary Vee on Instagram, but does zero work, I have zero respect for you. And there's so many people, I think, in that camp versus the latter, which is putting in the work, shutting their mouth, and then eventually providing enough value to where mentors are willing to give them advice.
Yeah, I know that to be true because that is the way that I actually got connected with you, Zain. I don't know if you remember, but the first time I ever went to the gym and worked out with Zain, he wasn't really taking me seriously. Like, he had his AirPods in. He was kind of like not talking to me so much. But I heard him talking to my friend that we were with, and he was saying, I want to start doing YouTube. So I went home and I said, okay, let me write out 10 video ideas that I think will be fire for Zain's YouTube channel. And the next time I saw him, I gave him that list of 10. And I think it was at that moment that he was like, oh, okay, let me see what this guy's all about. And from there, we started this friendship that has lasted for years. So it's just leading with value and doing it from your heart. I didn't do that because I wanted Zain to mentor me. I was like, I want to help this guy because I love what he's doing and I want to see how far he could take it. So it's just an example. But
yo, you guys, Jordan's a super real one. He's always putting you on for free. He got all of us. We're super busy to be here. Like, round of applause for Jordan.
Hey, thank you,
We
guys.
got nothing but love for Jordan.
We're about to wrap up here, okay? I promise. We're almost done. Everybody in the chat is begging Steve to talk. Steve is really the big dog here on this table today. So, Steve, I want to know how Luke became your mentor. I mean, how you became Luke's mentor. How did he reach out to you? How did he get a hold of you? How did that end up happening? I'm really curious.
I think he did pretty much the same thing that what Zain mentioned, right? Obviously, that time I was very focused on Facebook ads, Facebook group, like kind of like pretty much all my following was there, and I was trying to pivot out of Facebook that time. So I started with Instagram, but I sort of like personal branding wasn't really something that I focused a lot on. For Facebook group, it's very different, just giving value posts, right? But when I was trying to build my personal brand on Instagram, I was kind of like, just probably not doing it the right way. And Luke came like, hey, gave me a lot of insights because I get all these messages all the time, like what Zain mentioned, and it's kind of a big turnoff, right? People just come to you expecting you to give them answers. They don't even address you like, hey, Steve, like they were just like, can I run Facebook ads right now? Question mark. And if you don't reply, they'll keep sending you question marks all day long. Oh my God, those guys are so annoying. Anyway,
Annoying, yes.
so yeah, but when Luke came, he knows what I'm missing. He knows like I exactly needed help with like, Instagram specifically, right? So he positioned himself in a way like, hey, I can help you out with this. And I was thinking, oh, this guy has a lot of resilience because he was messaging me all the time at that time. And I saw a thing in Luke that so much resilience, and I really wanted to be able to see how can I work with this guy. So when we started talking about like, hey, you help me with my social media, I'll share with you how to crush drop shipping at the point of time. So that kind of like worked out pretty well. And as we started talking, I realized Luke is pretty young compared to me, right? So I kind of say, oh, this kid is like super hustling, and I have a lot of respect for kids or young people who started being able to wake up in such a young age, because it took me a while to kind of get out of the metrics. So I really appreciate seeing a lot of young individuals like, you guys are here all super young and really crushing in life. And I wanted to see how can I add value to him at the same time and make him super successful, right? So I invited him over to my mastermind, and he came over to my house in Singapore. He stayed at my place, we hanged out, and yeah, I realized he's someone that's really focused and he knows it very clearly where he want to go in life. And I was like, okay, wow, what if he has the knowledge for e-commerce and he can supercharge everything? And it turned out well. It turned out super well. So I'm glad we connected, and I'm glad all this online reaching out, it works, right? If you really are able to put in effort intentionally on who you want to connect with in a good way, I think there's a lot of people out there. There's like super kind people, super nice people who believes as much as wanting to have a bigger impact in the world. So yeah, I think it's super amazing to be able to see a lot of people that I've touched across the years, right? So one of our guests today on our podcast was a student of mine that came probably in 2018, and he left my mastermind asking like, Steve, so should I quit my university? I said, hell yeah, you have to quit immediately after the mastermind. And long story short, he went on to do 50 million right now from nothing. So I'm super happy when I see people crushing and being able to play any part, right? A small part, or being a catalyst for all these people just inspires me to like, keep spreading truth, keep pushing people, and just being a force for good.
That's amazing, bro. You've had a bigger impact than you know. You're a big reason why I was successful with e-commerce, and I'm super grateful for you. And at this point, I want to let this stream come to a wrap.
Jordan, you want me to give you the flip side of the story, just so people that are in the come up side, they understand how to approach higher level individuals? Do you think that?
But I do. I really do want you to give it, and keep it brief, because I feel bad for the rest of the guests here. I don't know. I know Neel got $1 million deal to make. I know Zain got 100 people calling him on the phone. I know Umar's looking at a sick trade right now.
12:30 in the morning here in fucking Kuala Lumpur, bro. I gotta go to sleep.
I know. And I appreciate you guys for your time, man. It means everything to me and all the viewers. Make sure to show some love in the chat. But Luke, let's hear the story, please. I want to know.
So a lot of us, Zain mentioned it, a lot of us get DMs like, yo, what can I do for you? Yo, hey, let me come work for you for free. What you need to understand is people that are already successful, they don't need people to come work for you for free. They're willing to pay people for the best talent. They're willing to pay in order to get the best caliber individuals. You need to be able, just like Umar studies the market, you need to be able to study the people that you want to be mentored by, so that you can attract them into your network, right? It's this famous Chinese proverb, I believe, that says, when the student is ready, the master will appear, right? And many times, and we want to approach somebody that's of high caliber, but we don't position ourselves to offer any sort of value. It's all about what can I get. It's never what can I give? How can I pour myself out in a way that is valuable? So, if you're reaching out to individuals, study them. Right? If you want to reach out to Jordan, figure out what is his pain point. Every person in the world, no matter how successful, wealthy you are, has a pain point. It may not be business, it may not be money, but what is their pain point? You go to a billionaire who's 75 years old, maybe his pain point is he wants to figure out how he can live longer and how to increase his lifespan longevity. So maybe your approach needs to be completely different. So you need to be able to tailor your approach, understanding what a person may need. So when I reached out to Steve like 6 years ago, I was like, okay, this guy understands things that I need. I want to develop a long-term relationship with him. I identified a pain point, and I was persistent and for free, right? I spent tens of thousands of dollars over the course of like 2 to 3 years building my relationship with Steve, providing value to the point where we ended up building a company together, and now he is the CEO of Capital Club, so I can focus on the vision, the big picture stuff of Capital Club. But it didn't start that way. I could have easily gone to Steve and been like, oh, here, you want me to help you develop your profile and your social, here charge you $4,000 a month. What type of relationship would I have built that way? So if you want to develop long-term relationships, you need to be able to empty yourself and to serve people. Serving people from a place where you expect nothing in return. And sometimes you may get screwed over, but it is undeniably the best way to access people that are high caliber, because every person in this room and every successful person in their network, they want one thing: loyalty. If they can identify people that are loyal to them, loyal to their cause, they are willing to pour themselves into those individuals, because people are not looking for mercenaries. They're looking for missionaries, people that are willing to support them long term. So when I identified Steve's pain points and I was able to build myself up to a position where I could provide value to him, I approached him not as a noob, but as an expert, humble enough to recognize his position. And I didn't come asking the questions, what can I do for you? But I said, here's the plan, here's the execution, let me handle it. And over the years, we built a brotherhood and we built a relationship. So if you're approaching individuals, you want a mentor, and every person needs a mentor. Every person needs a mentor. Look at all the experts in the world. They all have mentors. Every single one of them. You have to become a student of life. You need to become humble, because you don't know shit. And there's people that are farther along than you, that know better than you. And they're looking for loyalty. They're looking for allegiance. They're looking for alliances. They're not looking for more money. They're not looking for more business deals. They're looking for people that they can trust and that they can entrust things to. So if you become that person, you're one step closer to developing a superstar network.
Well said, Luke. It's true. You have to become that person that can sit at that table. There's no other way. And I think from this live stream today, We've passed on the gems to the people. What would you guys say? I think we've given them some of the keys to get to that stage. And I just want to say thank you guys again, for real. Like, this means the world to me that you guys came on this live stream today. Is there any parting words that any of you guys want to say? Maybe you just want to say shout out to your people, shout out to everybody here. Any quick things you guys want to say before I wrap this up?
Yo, you're muted, bro, Umar. Shout out to you all. Thanks for the time. And if you don't already, follow Timepiece Trading and at TPT Foreigns, Cars and Watches. Follow Luke Belmar. Follow Zain Official. Follow Umar Ashraf. Follow Jordan Welch. Steve, I don't know your handle, bro.
Steve Tan, the one and
Hey,
only.
Steve Tan.
I'm gonna go follow right now.
Yo, chat, should I buy a watch from Neel? I'm looking at this crazy watch. I want that watch that's on his wrist right now. I'm really thinking about it. Let me know, chat, if you guys would do it. Anybody else have some final words?
Right,
I was just going to say shout out to you, man. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I was just saying shout out to Jordan, man, for putting this together. Yeah, I think there's a second delay. Sorry, man.
And go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You're good.
I was just gonna say, dude, huge shout out to Jordan, exactly as Omar and Neel are saying. Dude, when you put these together, it's really fun for me. And to me, this is my favorite forum to like give value on, because you have real life people asking you questions. When you're just on a podcast, sometimes it's not live questions, so you don't know exactly what's hitting people, but it's great to see people's questions. The biggest thing I'll just say is whether you want to work with Luke, whether you want to work with Steve or Omar or Neel or Jordan, whoever you want to work with, at the end of the day, just realize all of us have gone through a period in our lives, I guarantee you, and I don't know a lot of these individuals intimately, but I imagine every single person in here has gone through a period in their life where they've had a very tough time. And there's been a lot of problems. It's felt extremely lonely, and you felt like it's an uphill battle that you can't really beat. The one thing that I guarantee you every single person in this group has is when the times are tough, they operate at their best. And whenever there's pressure on, they always figure it out, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to be successful until today. And I know for me personally, I'm living in an awesome place here today in Miami, but I could be sleeping in a small little cottage on the floor. And I will always have that motivation and that hunger to keep going, because to me, God's given us all this amazing ability to wake up every single day, breathe, and put our minds to work. So do not focus on the lifestyle of, oh, I want to be successful so that one day I can retire and relax. Focus on, I want to be successful so that I can exercise my full potential and my God-given abilities to work.
That's real, man.
I love that.
Real. I wanna give some real quick before y'all dip in the chat. I want to make a major announcement real quick. Everybody in the chat, listen up. As a thank you for 1 million subscribers, which I'm super grateful for you guys. It means the world to me that you guys show up every week when I post, and we got to this level. It's amazing. I thank you guys for that. This Sunday in Miami, I'm going to be doing a meetup with you guys. This is the first time I ever did something like this. So if you live in Florida, if you live close by, I'm going to post information about this on my Instagram today, and I want to see you guys there. I want to meet you guys face to face. Yesterday, I was at this event. Neel was there, and Zain was there as well. And I swear I met 100 of you guys. It was the craziest thing ever, and it's so amazing to meet you all face to face. And I want to do this. Finally, our first official subscriber meetup will be this Sunday. So if you want a chance to have this same exact experience, get to talk to me one-on-one, maybe some of my friends will pull up too. We're going to be doing it this Sunday. I'm going to post more information for you guys real soon.
I'll come for you, bro.
That's my guy, man. I appreciate that. Hey, look, so I want to ask again if there's any final points you guys want to touch on, and if not, we'll wrap it up there. But I appreciate you guys again. I can't say it enough.
I can toss in a little nugget or two.
Yeah, well, I like Luke because he's like the mic drop guy. He gonna give you some game, and then the mic gonna drop, and the whole stream gonna explode. So Luke, take us home, man. Let's hear what you got to say, and we'll wrap it up there.
So first of all, I want to give a shout out to people that I know here specifically. Neel. I buy all my timepieces from him. So the one I'm wearing even right now, I purchased from him exclusively. I know how he does business. He always hooks me up. I've been observing Umar from a distance. He is legitimate in his craft. He trades proficiently and efficiently, and he is a professional, and he is transparent. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, bro, like, you're the real fucking deal. I recognize it, because in a space of a lot of foo-foo nonsense, It stands true when you can actually post your numbers. I appreciate Jordan's authenticity when it comes to creating content and how he's reinvented himself consistently, and that shows. I appreciate Steve for just being the CEO of Capital Club and really being able to be a mentor to hundreds of thousands of people. And Zain, you and I have to still connect. You might have to scoop me up in Miami, bro. I'm gonna hit you up. But I know you're pioneering the space. You're an absolutely fucking legend. But I do wanna let people know a few things. First one is you need to live a life of authenticity. You cannot compare yourself to other people. You cannot play the facade. You cannot have a mask on. If you're trying to achieve the next level in your career, the next level in your life, you need to be authentic. Authenticity. You need to be real. And in a world of fake, in a world of facades, the ones that stand true are the ones that are authentic. The ones that stand long are the ones that stand authentic. So my encouragement to you guys is as you develop your entrepreneurial career, realize there's a verse in the Bible that says, it's very interesting. It says, do not let any falsehood be in you. So this idea of, playing the fake card, and I said it to Jordan when we were in Switzerland, Drake has a bar, he says, everybody's fake, you can crack the code. What's the code? To be fucking legit. Be the real deal. And the real deal requires hours, requires sacrifice, requires commitment, requires tears, requires sacrifice, and it requires time. If you want to be an authentic individual, you want to be the fullest version of yourself, it's going to require time, dedication, input, but it's possible. And that's a message that all of these guys are a testament to, that it's possible. It's possible to be more successful. It's possible to be healthier. It's possible to make more money. It's possible to develop better relationships. It's possible to live your life, but do it in an authentic way. Be the fullest version of yourself. Be the greatest version of yourself, because that is how you're going to live a full life. That's my message to you, boys and girls. I appreciate you guys.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Nah, Luke, that's real.
I think I'll drop a sentence probably to end off.
Please.
I think overcome and conquer loneliness. I think it's something that's very important in terms of entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, and if anyone could conquer loneliness and own it, they can do anything, in my opinion.
Yes, and then when you have enough money, you could spend $80,000 and you can buy somebody to accompany you. So you're good, No, I'm just kidding. Steve, it's great advice. It's great advice from everybody. I thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I thank you to everybody in the chat. Y'all probably at work, y'all at school, but you took the time to spend it with us today, and I hope you learned some extremely valuable game. Should we bring the round table back? Give me some W's in the chat if y'all want to see this again. And we got a bunch more people in my circle that I could bring on. And again, you guys are legends for being a part of this. So thank you so much. You guys have a great day, every single one of you. If you're in Miami, if you're in Florida, come to the meetup this Sunday. I'm going to post more information about that real soon. And Teo just walked in. Teo will be filming all my videos. Come say what's up. Come on, get over here. But nah, thank you guys, for real. Say what's up, Teo.
What's up, guys?
At that note, we'll wrap it up. See you boys later. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Later.